What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Protocol Pegasus here, bringing it back to you guys in Remnant from the Ashes, and today we'll be taking an all-new look at the build known as the Heart of the Twisted Soul. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so jumping into my character sheet here, for my handgun I'm using the hunting pistol, with the weapon mod attached onto it known as Seed Caller. For the long gun I'm using the Coach gun, attached onto it is a weapon mod known as Beacon. For my melee weapon, I'm using the Smolder. For the armor set, I'm using 3-piece Twisted. So I'm using a Twisted Hood, Twisted Cage, and a Twisted Tassets. I probably pronounced that wrong. Let me know in the comments. For the necklace, I'm using Heart of Darkness. For the first ring, I'm using Blood Font. And for the second ring, I'm using Soul Link. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over into traits. Now, I can't stress this enough when it comes down to the traits at the end of the day. You can go about doing this in any order you would like when it comes to any particular build you happen to be running, whether it's yours or someone else's, because at the end of the day, it really won't make a difference because there is no set cap limit within the course of this game. So with that being said, you can capitalize on every single trait, and from there, just make your character all around that much better. However, if you want a base starting point of the traits you should look into, I will show you. So one of the ones I'm going to recommend doing is Spirit. Spirit is fantastic for mod power generation. Another one I'm going to recommend is going to be Summon Damage, which is Invoker. Really, really nice. And I always pronounce this wrong, so I give up. This guy here, which is Healing Efficiency, plus 100%. Really, really good for this build when it comes to a lot of self-healing and self-sustain you will be able to get. Now, enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump over into some gameplay. Alright, so we're playing on Earth here on Nightmare mode. I'm going to go over my thoughts, input, and overall breakdown of the build, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. So, one of the reasons I ended up going with the shotgun is because I wanted to do something a little bit more close range, just because of the fact I feel as though the shotgun's a really nice transition to be able to deal close range damage output as well as really nice single target damage. I also think it plays out really, really effectively when tying into the hunting pistol because it's really good for close to mid range, and then I can swap with a hunting pistol to be able to just deal with those range components accordingly and just pick them off as I see fit, even before they get to me. Even if it doesn't kill them, I can just swap with the shotgun and finish them off with that. So the transition effect is really nice. Plus, I think the shotgun's just a lot of fun at the end of the day, and it's something that really isn't used too often, so I figured might as well play around with it a little bit, test it out. And it synergizes, believe it or not, really, really well with the summons. So as you can see here, when I end up popping up my summons, I can literally just keep rotating out with my summons because I'm getting so much of my mod regeneration output back because of the amount of damage output I'm actually doing off of the shotgun, and it just feels absolutely fantastic. So I always feel like even though I don't have any formally mod regeneration amplifying stats, I continuously keeping up my mods just to be able to apply more pressure, more damage, and be able to deal with not only single target combatants but adds as well when it comes down to it. So it's really, really nice overall. So it feels super well rounded, and the Twisted set just really helps out with that aspect because if I get dot damage applied to me, the Twisted set will automatically combat it by healing me over time, and I don't have to worry about popping any form of Dragon Hearts because I'm getting so much healing not only from the Twisted set but as well as from the Soul Link ring. So I'm able to proc all my summons. Any damage they do, I heal, and if they're not doing damage, I still heal because of my passive regeneration. If I really need to, I can pop a pot and just keep using the healing off of that as well because my healing overall is going to be amplified from my ring, and then my overall damage output is also amplified from the necklace I'm wearing to like 20%. As long as I don't end up popping a Dragon Heart, I don't take any negative effects from that, and since I have so much healing in this build by itself, I don't need to pop a Dragon Heart. I'm perfectly fine. So in reality, you have so much self-sustain with this particular build. As you can see throughout the course of this gameplay, my health goes instantly back. Like there's not even like downtime in the regeneration, it's just instant full health again. And I'm barely low health throughout the course of a lot of these encounters that I'm playing through here. So it's just a really, really nice overall build. Also really good for beginners too, because it really shows the overall, like the overwhelming power that you get from being able to take on multiple groups of enemies and just self-sustain yourself accordingly, while still utilizing a light base armor set, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm not losing out on mobility, I'm not losing out on damage output, I'm not losing out on being able to deal AoE damage, and I'm not losing out really on single target damage. It's just an overall well-rounded build. The survivability is going to be substantially higher compared to a lot of the other builds I end up doing at the end of the day, but granted, that's perfectly fine because of the fact that when playing in higher level difficulties such as Nightmare Mode or Apocalypse, you're going to want to have that increased survivability, even though that might mean that your DPS will dwindle a little bit, but hell, you're not doing DPS if you're dead. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, this really shows the overall power of what this build really can do as a whole, which is really nice, and the synergy just works out super effectively. I ended up going with the melee weapon that the sword for the melee weapon, excuse me, just because of the fact that I thought it looked cool. It has a really nice cleave effect. It ties into the armor set quite nicely. I just went with it. I went with the hunting pistol too for one of the main factors that when attaching the Weedle mod onto them, it looks freaking awesome. If you haven't tried it already, take a look at it. It looks absolutely incredible. And the shotgun, I just felt as though that I wanted a faster pulse shotgun, which was going to be able to not worry about downtime or reloading, as well as apply enough damage output where it wasn't going to hinder my overall performance value by having a longer reload time. So at the end of the day, everything just synergizes really, really well. One of the downsides I probably will say with the build is that if you're going up against a Battet that ends up flying or anything like that, you're not going to have the ability to really capitalize on your full summons accordingly, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, you're going to be pretty much good to go. Just because of the fact that you still have the skulls, so you can still utilize them on flying creatures and such, so it's not like you're really missing out on too much, but it will dwindle your DPS as well as your survivability continuously. The way you kind of want to play this build is going to be pretty simplistic. You could... excuse me. You're going to want to continuously keep your summons up, and then you're going to want to just make sure you don't kill your summons by accident. They're going to be different colors and different shades, and they'll have different illuminated effects around them, so just be cautious and mindful of that, because I have been caught out where I've accidentally killed my summons before, and that's okay. But in the heat of a battle and you kill your summons, you're missing out on your DPS as well as your survivability, because they're pretty much the bread and butter of your build. So you want to make sure that they were always continuously up, because if they're not, you're not going to have as good of a time as what you could be. So at the end of the day, you want to just capitalize on just making sure that they're up and about, and you don't have to worry about falling off of DPS or survivability. But all in all, it's a lot of fun. It's a good build. It's light, it's fast, it's efficient. Honestly, you can probably play it in Apocalypse mode too. If you want to give it a shot, by all means, let me know and tell me what you think. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, leave it down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.